Okay, welcome back to part 2 of our How to Get on Google Page One seminar. Now you're going to need to understand how search engines work if you're going to design your site so that they evaluate it highly. So now no human ever looks at your website. It's only examined by a robot. There's millions of these robots running around cyberspace looking for new things and feeding it back to the big search engine in the sky there. So this is an automated system. It's completely without human input, though humans decided how these search engines should evaluate your site, but it's all done on an automatic basis. So now that's what we're going to address in how to design the site to do this. And the first part of that is what's called internal optimization. And what we're going to do there is to design your site so that the search engines understand it and think highly of it, the search engine robots. And then we're going to fill it with content that is appropriate so that, again, you get highly rated by the search engine robots. And finally, we're going to get everyone else in the world to think your site's important. And that's called external optimization. Alright, let's start with internal optimization now. Now what this really means is that you optimize your code in your site so that the robots understand what your site is all about, and they think it's important and it's valuable. So let's look at this first concept here, getting the robots to understand what your site's all about. Now what this is done with is keywords, and it's done with keywords in very, very specific places. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run you through a little example here. The first thing you need to do is to decide what keywords you want to appear highly on Google with. These should be very specific terms. Now there's a lot of tools out there that'll help you research your keywords, but let's do an example here just for fun. This is my accountant. His name's Don. He's a nice guy. He's a good accountant. He has a website here that his wife did for him, and she thinks that SEO stuff is all smoke and mirrors, and it's not true. So I use it as an example because Don doesn't do too well when you search for him. Okay, so I went to Google and I searched CPA in Huntington Beach. Now you'd think that would be pretty important to appear highly on Google for, but you can see Don's return number 223 or so. So this is page 22. Now, how many people looking for a new accountant you think go all the way to page 22 when they put in the CPA in their hometown? Not too many, I'd wager. So let's take a look at how Don's site's done. Now I'm using a tool here that's called What Search Engines See, and this is Don's site in there. You can see that his title is not too bad, Certified Public Accountant in Orange County, California, but meta keywords in there are Google doesn't even pay attention to anymore. And it's because of abuse in the past. People's keywords stuffed them. But the important places they're looking for keywords is in the headers, and you can see that Don has no headers on his website. And partly it's because it's written in older code that doesn't use headers. Modern code is XHTML version 1.1, and websites need to be written in that. And then they have headers, and then the robots will look at the headers and say, this is an important term and this is not, whatever. Another place the robots look are under the links. And you can see that in Don's site he uses images as links rather than using anchor text. If you do use anchor text, you don't want to use anchor text like click here or or something that you want to put keywords in those anchor texts. And I'll show you how that works in a minute here when we look at my site. Now let's look at the site content. Here it is, and it doesn't really have much in it. His front page has very, very little actual content in it, and that content is not particularly keyword rich. Okay, now let's search ISO 9000 quality consultant in Huntington Beach. That's one of my specialties in my engineering business, and I have tailored my site so that it comes up number one. Out of about 8,100 some returns there, so it's not a very competitive keyword, but there's quite a few returns. So now let's see how I do it. You can see that I'm using the same tool that I looked at Don's site with, and my title and my headers are full of quality terminologies, engineering quality terminologies. So ISO 9000 is in here, PPAP, pre-production part approval process, statistical process control. These are ISO 9000 terms, and you can see that they're in the headers of my website. So when someone puts in those kind of terminologies, the robots say, hey, I know a site over here that's got those in the headers. It must be a more valuable site than some site that doesn't have it in the headers when someone searches for a quality consultant. So you got to have it in the headers. And second, let's look at my anchor text. Okay, you can see we've got ISO quality, we've got mechanical engineering, product design. These are keywords, important keywords that I want to be found with when someone searches for me. So you can see they're in the links as well. I don't use images in the links, I use words. That's really important. Links like contact info, product, services, these are not keywords. They're just words that everybody has. You need to have specific keywords. Better to say ceiling products or window products than it is to say products. So we've got to put the keywords in the links that the search engine is going to be looking for. And of course, here's the content. You can see that it's very, very keyword rich, and I've written it for the reader, to be sure, but not for the search engine. But I use the terms all the terminology that people may be searching for me for. So that's why I come up on Google number one, page one, number one, where Don is back tucked on page 22. That's the only differences in our websites themselves. They both have pictures of us. They both have a bunch of words. They've got a bunch of links. It's essentially the same site. I mean, it's obviously a different design, but mine uses the keywords in the right places, and his does not. So that's how you optimize your site to get it on Google page one.